Hello, I'm Moira Alderson with the BBC News. Israel says 24 people who were freed after being held hostage in Gaza by Hamas are in good health. At a press conference, a doctor said they were being treated for the physical and psychological impact of their ordeal. In return, Israel released a number of Palestinian prisoners. Tom Bateman reports from Jerusalem.
The hostages were greeted by a cheering crowd as they arrived at a military base in southern Israel. Most of them, including 4 children aged between 2 and 9 with their mothers, are tonight at hospitals where they are being reunited with the rest of their families. They were released along with a similar number of Thai nationals and a Filipino driven in Red Cross jeeps through the Rafah crossing out of Gaza. Meanwhile, Palestinians celebrated in the occupied West Bank after Israel released 39 prisoners, mostly women and teenage boys, who have been reunited with their families.
The US President Joe Biden has thanked Qatar, Egypt and Israel's leaders for securing the release of the hostages. In a televised address from Nantucket in Massachusetts, he said they would not stop until all the hostages were home. Mr. Biden added that efforts to shape a new future for the region also had to be the focus.
Over the coming days, I'll remain engaged with leaders throughout the Middle East as we all work together to build a better future for the region. A future where this kind of violence is unthinkable. A future where all children in the region, every child, Jewish, Muslim, Christian, Israeli, Palestinian, Arab, grow up knowing only peace.
One of the freed Palestinians said her release came as a complete surprise. She'd been in prison since 2015 and had been held in solitary confinement with no idea about the current situation in Gaza. The UN says 137 trucks carrying urgently needed food, water, medicines and fuel crossed into Gaza on Friday. It's the biggest humanitarian convoy to enter the territory since the conflict began early last month. Mark Regev, the senior advisor to Israel's Prime Minister, told the BBC that the delay in allowing supplies into Gaza helped secure the release of the 24 hostages taken from inside Israel by Hamas.
We guaranteed a minimum to make sure there was food entering Gaza, medicine entering Gaza, water entering Gaza, and even fuel. You will recall a decision a few days before this deal to allow for fuel to go in for specific purposes, for hospital generators and so forth. Had we done everything up front, what motivation would have Hamas had to let our hostages out? I think Israel's played our cards here very, very shrewdly.
Thousands of Palestinians displaced by the fighting have used the pause to go back to their homes, despite Israeli warnings that the war is far from over. World News from the BBC. The World Food Programme has warned that many Afghan families recently forced to leave Pakistan will struggle to feed themselves through the winter. It said they were being made to go back at the worst time of year. In October, Pakistan issued an ultimatum to undocumented foreigners to leave. Opposition politicians in Madagascar say they will not recognise the outcome of last week's presidential election, which is expected to be announced on Saturday. They say it's been rigged. Will Ross reports.
This is a tense time for Madagascar. The result isn't in doubt, but after the incumbent, Ange Radzuel, is declared the winner, what next? There are already questions over the legitimacy of the poll. 60% of the electorate didn't vote, and the opposition doesn't sound ready to leave the scene quietly, having described the exercise as a sham. 11 candidates said they couldn't be held responsible for the political and social instability that might be ahead. Back in 2009, a thirst for power among the political elite led to a deep crisis that had a huge economic impact on the country. There are fears that Madagascar is in danger of going down a similar road again.
Will Ross reporting. The American rapper and music producer Sean Diddy Combs has been accused of an historical sexual assault by a third woman in just over a week. The new complaint alleges he and another singer took turns raping the unnamed woman and her friend in 1990 or 1991. Another suit filed on Thursday accused Mr. Combs of drugging and sexually assaulting a different woman in 1991. His representatives have denied both claims and say they are nothing but a money grab. The governing body of world football, FIFA, has opened disciplinary proceedings after crowd trouble delayed Brazil's World Cup qualifier against Argentina. Fights among fans broke out after the national anthems at the Maracanã Stadium in Rio de Janeiro on Tuesday. The match started 27 minutes late. BBC News.